Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Arts Passport podcast. My name is Avery Anderson. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today's episode is a special episode in partnership with Voices of Hope for Aphasia and their upcoming Word Play Gala. Our guest is Debbie Yones, who's going to talk all about what aphasia is, the programs that Voices of Hope are offering, and how you can support them through wordplay. All right, enjoy. Hello, Debbie. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to talk about all things Voices of Hope for Aphasia, Wordplay. It's such an amazing organization and such amazing work that you're doing in the community. And I just recently got involved with you all not too long ago. So I have to say, I wasn't even fully aware of what aphasia is and the impact it has for folks living in the Bay Area. So I just think you're doing amazing work. So I'm glad we can talk about it today.
Well, thank you very, very much. I obviously am passionate about it, and I'm always so grateful when other people really understand why it's important and the impact that it makes. So thank you.
Let's just start very surface level, because there's probably some people listening that have not heard of aphasia before. So let's just talk about what is aphasia and then what is the work that your organization is doing.
Sure. I'm always very grateful to be able to define aphasia because there's some inaccurate definitions about it. So I'm going to give you my very boiled down definition. Aphasia is a language disorder, an acquired language disorder. So those two words are the important ones. So language meaning that it's a disorder that affects speaking, understanding, reading, and writing, the four ways in which we use language. And acquired because it means something happened that caused it. So it's not something from childhood. It's not something from birth. It was, God forbid, any one of us, you or I, and then something happened that we acquired the disorder. Now, most commonly, it's due to stroke. Numbers upwards of 75% of cases are due to stroke. But it could be anything that affects the part of the brain where we process language. So a stroke, a car accident, in the case of former Representative Gabby Giffords, a gunshot wound that entered right in that part of the brain. Or it got a lot of publicity through Bruce Willis a few years ago, which is a form of a progressive disease, a form of dementia, where the disease has settled first, primary progressive aphasia, in the part of the brain that processes language. And then that continues to spread, unfortunately. In the cases, I will say, in the cases of sort of sudden onset, a stroke or an accident, people can continue to improve. With one big caveat that leads me into the definition of Voices of Hope or who we are. People can continue to improve forever. There used to be research that said, how much ever improvement you got after a stroke at 6 months, 3 months, a year, whatever that number is that got thrown around. We've proven that not to be true. There's research proving that the brain is an incredible thing and it can continue to repair itself forever, even if we're older. It slows down the pace of how quickly it'll recover, but you can continue to recover if you stay active, if you continue to use that language, if you continue to stay engaged in life and participate, which is where Voices of Hope for Aphasia comes in.
I love it. Yeah, talk to me a little bit about your programming and what you're doing to help people stay active.
Yeah. So Voices of Hope was established, I think we're coming up on our 15th year, I have to do the math, by a person with aphasia, Mike Caputo, and his wife, Kathy, who realized that there needed to be more for people with aphasia. Before Voices of Hope and across the country in places that don't have programs like ours, if you're lucky to be insured, then you get a few sessions of speech therapy a week for however long your insurance company is willing to pay for it. But it's maybe 45 minutes a couple of times a week if you're lucky. But aphasia, like any language, you need to use it. You need to keep engaging. And so Mike and Kathy said there needs to be more for people with aphasia. There needs to be a way for people with aphasia to come together, get support, and actively participate in conversations that are supported. Because life goes too fast for a person with aphasia. So there needs to be some safe space for that to happen. And so we do that. The core of our programs is called Living exclamation point with aphasia, not just I'm living with aphasia, but living with aphasia. And those are conversation groups. They're all led by speech therapists, but we're not doing speech therapy. We are able to support the speech therapists that run the programs are incredible because they can support everybody around the table regardless of their ability to communicate. So from somebody who's struggling very little and you wouldn't know, or internally struggling and you wouldn't know, to the person that can't make any words, but whose voice and message is important and we can get it out. And so those happen right now every day of the week for us, either in person in St. Pete, in Dunedin and Tampa, or online on Zoom.
That's so fantastic that is an offering you can provide and that it's like something that folks can just engage with on a regular basis. It doesn't have to feel like it's a therapy. Like you said, it's not therapy, although it is led by speech therapists. So I love that idea.
Yeah. It's definitely therapeutic in more ways than one.
Yeah.
To be sitting around a room of your friends who are all traveling the same road is really powerful.
That is powerful.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking once, you mentioned that there's about 23,000 folks in the Tampa Bay area that are impacted by aphasia.
Yeah. I haven't done the math in a few years, so it's probably a lot more than that, but it's upwards of 23,000. And that is just due to stroke. So not taking into consideration any of the other etiologies. So there's a lot of our neighbors that are living with stroke, and we might not know of them as much because it's really isolating to not be able to communicate. So people with aphasia tend to stay at home, tend to not be out in public, or, will go to the grocery store with their family, but they're not, at church or at social outings that the rest of us do easily.
Yeah.
But that number, to put it into context, is more than twice as many than people living with Parkinson's.
Oh, wow.
But we all know what Parkinson's is, right? We can imagine, because of the fact that we can imagine the shake, the tremor. It's hard to imagine a language disorder.
Sure.
Especially because there's such a wide variety of severities and types.
Yeah. And you're a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
But I always remind people, nonprofits still have expenses and they have to pay speech therapists and they have to pay for these programs. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is Word Play, your annual fundraising event. So give me kind of the rundown on what is Word Play. This is the 4th year, correct?
Yes, it is our 4th year. So Word Play is the genius idea by Larry Biddle and David Warner to have an event that is centered on a crossword puzzle competition. So we get a custom crossword puzzle created every year. Kevin Christian is a New York Times published crossword puzzle constructor. He makes a puzzle for us each year that he donates. So thank you, Kevin. And during the night, there's a portion of the night that is the crossword puzzle competition, and all of the tables compete against each other. So 8 people to a table, all completing one crossword puzzle, and whoever finishes it first and correctly is our crossword puzzle champion for the night.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It gets so competitive. It's incredible.
I feel like, so we've not talked about this, so this is a revelation for you. I'm not good at crosswords, so I feel like I probably will not win this year, but I will be there and I will be working on my crossword puzzle.
Yes. Well, I'm going to probably have you working on something else.
News to me. No, just kidding. Yeah. And there are other things throughout the night too. There's a silent auction. Well, no, there's a live auction, not a silent auction.
Both. So after the crossword puzzle, of course, it's a night of giving. So after the crossword puzzle, it gives me an opportunity to say, look how fun that was using language like that. How many of you do Wordle? How many of you do word searches? Can you imagine if that got taken away from you? And then we talked really about a little bit more about education, about aphasia, and what the impacts are of living with aphasia. And then we turn it into an evening of giving. So there are live auction items that are always highly competitive to get. We have some silent auction items. The special items are all made by our members. Plus, we have some other things. And then we just have opportunities to give from the heart.
And I think that is such a special thing because this is what then funds your year of operation and getting to actually do that work.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about, for those that like are new and have never been before, is this an event that you think they will enjoy, or is this something that like is really just for your members and that sort of thing?
So we have won an award for how awesome our gala is. So yes, people will have fun. It's not. It's a casual gala where it's not a stuffy get. Well, I don't mean it's stuffy, but you don't have to get dressed up. It's really about
you can wear a ball gown, but no ball gowns required.
No ball gowns required.
Yes.
In fact, our theme for the night, our dress code for the night, is to encourage people to dress like a crossword puzzle.
Oh my gosh.
Black and white theme, creative crossword puzzle is what we say. And then it's really about the sort of competitiveness, the puzzle games. We have a bunch of other word games. And like you said, it's then about the giving. And I've been told, and I know that people will only tell me the good. No, I also get the bad parts. But I've been told that, I've been to so many galas in my life, and I dread going to them. But this is the one that I look forward to every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we make it a really fun night.
Yeah. And this year is, every year is special, but this year's different in a way because it's at a new venue this year.
Yes.
So talk about, why is it moving to USF St. Pete, and what does that kind of allow you to do?
Yeah, I'm super excited to partner with University of South Florida Communication Sciences and Disorders Department, which I am a graduate of. My master's degree comes from there. So they're hosting us at the USF St. Pete campus. They have this beautiful ballroom overlooking the bay, overlooking the airport, and it allows us to welcome more people. So it's a sort of a change of scenery for us that puts us right in the heart of St. Pete,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be fantastic. And it also allows us to highlight some of our St. Pete neighbors as well as the Tampa neighbors as well. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong, because numbers are not my strong suit. Over the course of 3 years, we've raised $400,000 so far.
correct. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, like, I know we can say generally that money goes into the programs, but why is this really like that important? What is this night directly funding when you think about, like, oh, I'm coming for a crossword puzzle, but then that dollar is going further?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that question, because sometimes, donating to nonprofits, you don't know what kind of impact your dollar is making. And I'm proud to say that almost 100% of our overhead is covered through grants and through our board. So the money that we raise in the night goes directly to the programs. And so the program that I talked about earlier, the Living with Aphasia program, is conducted by speech therapists. So our biggest expense really is to compensate those staff fairly, but make all those programs available to people who otherwise are sitting at home. And there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of isolation that happens if we can't welcome them in person. So it goes directly to that. We also have some education programs that we offer for family units as a whole, family and friends, that are helpful, especially when being released from a hospital or a rehab and you're going home, and if your loved ones had a stroke and maybe they have some mobility issues, you're worried about, are they going to be safe at home? Do I have the right bed? Can I install a ramp into the house? Are they going to be able to manage the bathroom? And then all of those things settle in and you realize, I can't communicate with my loved one. We're not having the same kind of conversations, and they are feeling frustrated. And so we're there to sort of improve their quality of life. That's our mission, to improve the quality of life of the person with aphasia and of the loved ones through programs, through caregiver support programs, through education, through outings, through all of it. It's really kind of a holistic way that we approach caring for the whole life of a person with aphasia and their loved ones.
And correct me if I'm wrong, most of the programs are free.
Correct. We don't require a fee. We will never turn anybody away based on their ability to pay. We understand the huge impact, financial impact that a stroke can have or a brain injury can have. Most of our folks, the average age of our population is younger and younger. It used to be, stroke, people in their 70s and 80s. Now, I think our average age is probably mid 50s. So they're still at work. They're still raising money for their family and being productive. And all of a sudden that's taken away together with all the hospital bills. And we don't want that to be a stress.
Yeah.
So we do rely. I say to my families when they say to me, how much is this going to cost me? I say, don't worry about it. The burden's not on you. I'm going to put the burden on somebody else. You have plenty to worry about. But of course, it costs money to do anything,
Yes.
right? It costs money, like you said. There's still expenses, and so many of our members, despite the fact that I don't require a contribution, they will contribute because they see the impact and the value of the programs.
Yeah. As we start to wrap up, I'd just love to know, what is the hope for the Voices of Hope? What's the hope for Voices of Hope as you continue to do this work? Because like you said, 14 years is still relatively new in the terms of what you're doing, and there's so much work to be done. So what is on the horizon, and what are you hoping to kind of accomplish?
So my next project that I really want to be able to undertake, the next program, is to reach the communities that are underserved. Underserved through the healthcare system, underserved by the insurance companies, and then therefore unaware of our services because our normal referral route is through the hospital system, through the traditional healthcare system. So my next big program that I'd like to get up off the ground, and that I'm hoping that some of the funding from Word Play can help to support, is bringing our Living with Aphasia program into the community of South St. Pete is my first aim. So to partner with churches, Black sororities and fraternities and community centers and some of our other organization colleagues that are serving that area, to partner with them to provide these services. And really, a lot of them aren't getting any speech therapy, so we can support in that way.
Yeah. All right, as we wrap up, let's run through Word Play one more time.
Yes.
When, where, how do you get tickets? What are you supporting? Any details for the night of? We'll just rapid fire all the things that you can think of.
Okay. So Word Play is Wednesday, July 1st, starting at 6:30 at the USF St. Pete Student Center Ballroom, beautiful downtown. And tickets are available on wordplaytampabay.com. And also our website, vohaphasia.org. And tickets are available pre-sale right now for those who have attended in the past. They're getting an ability to get their tickets before the masses. And then on April 15th, tables so that you can get your crossword puzzle team together, and individual tickets will be available.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you also for all the work you're doing in the community, for the work you're doing around aphasia. And I just hope that others listening to this might be interested, get a ticket, support, or just learn more about the programming.
Yes.
So
thank you so much, Avery.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to keep this short and simple. You should come to Word Play. That's all. That's it. We'll see you there. July 1st at USF St. Pete. Get tickets now. They are probably on sale by the time you're listening to this. And please continue to support not only Voices of Hope, but also the Arts Passport and all the work both organizations are doing. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.